Welcome back to Mystical Kannada, friends. In the last video, we learnt about the Vijayanagara Empire, and today we shall know more about the Bahamani kingdom. The Bahamani kings ruled in Gulbarga and Bidar from 1347 to 1518. The most prominent among them were King Muhammad Shah I, King Firuz Shah, and King Muhammad Shah II. Their business language and the language of scripts and inscriptions were Persian and Urdu. Major literary works and authors during their period are Shivatattva Chintamani by Allauddin Hasan and Guru Charitra by Sri Saraswati Gangadhara Sakare, Deccani literature by Qazi Bande Nawaz, and Persian works written by Muhammad Gawan. Bahamani kingdom was a Persianate Sunni Muslim empire of the Deccan in South India. It was the first independent Muslim kingdom of the Deccan and was known for its perpetual wars with its Hindu rivals of Vijayanagara, which would outlast the Sultanate. The founder, Allauddin Hasan Gangu, was a poor Afghan, a native of Delhi, and he was originally a servant of the Brahmana astrologer named Gangu. One day, while ploughing in a small piece of land, accidentally he found some hidden treasure against which the plough-share had stuck. His master cast his horoscope and foretold that one day he would be a king. Hence, the name Bahamani is derived from Brahmana. Before the establishment of his kingdom, he was governor of Deccan and a commander on behalf of Tughlaqs. On 3rd August 1347, Nasir-ud-Din Ismail Shah, who had revolted against Delhi Sultanate, stepped down on that day in favor of Bahmani Shah, a native of Delhi. His revolt was successful and he established an independent state on the Deccan within the Delhi Sultanate's southern provinces with its headquarters at Hasnabad. He finally succeeded in establishing himself as a ruler of the Deccan, and with the support of the influential Chishti Sufi sheikhs, he crowned himself Allauddin Hasan Shah Sultan. His descendants styled themselves as kings of Bahmani dynasty. Hassan selected his capital as Kalburga, now known as Gulbarga. The word Gulbarga is derived from an original Kannada name Kalamburge and renamed it as Hasanabad. He divided it into 4 provinces: Gulbarga, Daulatabad, Berar and Bidar. Muhammad Shah I organized different limbs of his government like the ministry, the household troops and the provincial administration. He was chiefly engaged in waging wars against the rulers of Warangal and Vijayanagara. Firuz Shah was the great ruler of the dynasty, not only heroic but scholarly, a well-linguistic and composed verses in Arabic, Persian, Marathi, Telugu and Kannada. Firuz Shah fought against the Vijayanagara Empire on many occasions, and one victory resulted in marriage with Devaraya's daughter. His successor, Muhammad II, shifted the capital to Bidar. The Bahmani rulers were Afghans and they followed the Islam religion and worshipped Allah. The Bahmani sultans were patrons of the Persian language, culture and literature, and some members of the dynasty became well versed in that language and composed its literature in that language. Persian was their court language and language of their inscriptions. Urdu was their officially spoken language at large. Deccani literature by Qazi Bande Nawaz and Persian works written by Muhammad Gawan. Other contemporary works were Lakkana Dandesha's Shivatattva Chintamani and Guru Charitra by Sri Saraswati Gangadhara Sakare are the most prominent literature works of their times. All the coins of the Bahamani rulers were minted at Hasanabad. The craftspersons of Bidar were so famed for their inlay work on copper and silver that it came to be known as Bidri. The Persianate Indo-Islamic style of architecture developed during this period was later adopted by the Deccan Sultanates as well. Firuz Shah founded an observatory at Daulatabad. He also built a new town, Firozabad, and gave shelter to Sufi saint Bande Nawaz at Gulbarga. The Bahamanis have left behind the fine fort, Haft Gumbaz and Jama Masjid in Gulbarga, and wonderful palaces, fort and madrasas of Muhammad Gawan, Sola Kamba Masjid at Bidar. Their tombs at Astur near Bidar are attractive monuments. They also built many forts at Daulatabad, Golconda, and Raichur. Athanasius Nikitini, who travelled this kingdom, contrasts the huge wealth of the nobility with the ruggedness of the peasantry and the frugality of the Hindus. The first Sultan, Allauddin Hasan Shah, is noted to have captured thousands singing and dancing girls from Hindu temples after he battled the northern Carnatic chieftains. The later Bahmanis also enslaved civilian women and children in wars. Many of them were converted to Islam in captivity. After 1518, the Sultanate broke up into 5 states: Nizam Shahi of Ahmednagar, Qutub Shahis of Golconda, Farid Shahi of Bidar, Imad Shahi of Berar, Adil Shahi of Bijapur. They are collectively known as the Deccan Sultanates. The Bahmani dominion extended from the Wainganga and the Tapti river in the north to Krishna river in the south, and from Daulatabad, Kathiawar, Bombay and Goa in the west coast up to the erstwhile Nizam dominions and the Godavari district on the east coast, including the whole of Maharashtra and parts of Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka. They ruled for about 175 years. That's about the Bahmani kingdom. We shall meet in our next video related to the Adil Shahis of Bijapur. Until then, like Kannada, love Kannada and subscribe Mystical Kannada for lot more interesting videos about Kannada and Karnataka. Sirigannadam Gelge, Sirigannadam Balge.